Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Central Podcasting Room. This is your co-host Liam, joined by your other co-host
Noah.
And Noah had an important announcement he wanted to start off with today.
So we've gotten some feedback that I guess our intro isn't professional enough. Like we didn't already know that.
Right, and so the problem with this is that Noah has taken great offense to this. And while we're trying to do a professional intro this episode, Noah has been hurt physically, spiritually, mentally, and he truly feels like he has been crippled on truly every level.
It's fine. It's fine. You know, I'm fine. I'll survive. It just hurts.
Well, so there goes that introduction, and I think that one was fine. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine. So are we going to move on? That's the question.
We are going to move on.
Well, you see the hypocrisy of talking about not doing a professional introduction, trying to do a professional introduction, and then still not professionally doing an introduction. I mean, did you catch that was going on subtly in the background?
I think what we're saying is we're not changing.
No, that's not what we're saying. What we are saying is that you should be cautious when you're buying a refurbished computer.
Segue.
What can I say? You could say that I'm a professional at introducing topics.
Oh my goodness. This is off to a great start.
Well, with that being said, so here's the dealio, I guess, to really get into it. So we have 5 or 6 episode topics that we want to go over. Something happened, and we wrote them all out on the whiteboard along with a big to-do list of everything we need to do company-wide. And something happened, and not in a panic, but with a great sense of urgency, I erased that whiteboard, and I never took a picture of it first. So we had an episode planned for this week, and we lost that plan for an episode. I think we were intending on talking about NAS and storage and kind of continuing that discussion, and we still are. But there has been some developments within the company within the last, week. Realistically, it's been about 2 days.
Yeah.
But they've been dramatic enough, just kind of with what we've been seeing, that we wanted to talk about more so about used computers, used hardware, and what you should look for when you're buying used computers.
Absolutely. And you need to be careful. The number one rule.
You do need to be careful. And ultimately, typically, if it's too good to be true, if it looks too good to be true, it is.
Yep, absolutely.
That's typically where it is. And so let me give you some examples. If you weren't aware, we sell refurbished computers here at Basilius. And they range from anywhere between typically $200 to $300, maybe $350. It depends on the machine.
Yep.
And so where are we getting these computers? I mean, we don't have many for sale. We just have a couple here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And the primary purpose of these computers is so that we have inventory for if somebody needs a computer to be lent it out while we're working on their machine. If a business needs a computer on the fly, just to have inventory. But while we have this inventory, it is available to you, the general consumer, as well. But where are we getting these computers? I'll say it. I'll say the truth. People either just give them to us because they don't know what else to do with them, or we're getting them off the Facebook Marketplace. And you can get some good deals off of the Facebook Marketplace. Just this week, over the last 2 days, the dramatic turn of events that I alluded to, I bought 6 computers for $300.
Just big stonks.
No, it is a big stonks because I was just saying, I'll sell you one computer,
Mm-hmm.
we'll sell you one computer for $300, but I just bought 6 for $300. And each one of those machines can go for anywhere from $200 to $300. So if I'm buying these machines for $50 on average off the Facebook Marketplace, then why am I reselling it so high?
Because of the work that is going into these machines to make them sellable.
And that's the answer.
Yep.
Every one of these machines I'm buying off of Facebook Marketplace, again, $50 on average. One of them, I think the most expensive one, let me do some math, because I bought 2 for $135. One of them was $55, so that would be $80. I think the most expensive machine I purchased in that setup, if you will, was $80. But I've in the past purchased a machine for as much as $100. 9 times out of 10, when you get a machine for this price and you're getting it off the Facebook Marketplace, it is not in a condition I would call or feel comfortable actually selling to a client. And I mean, I will give you an example. I have a computer behind me on our bench that I was sold as being ready to use.
It is not ready to use.
The RAM's busted. We're still figuring out exactly what's going on, if it's slots in the motherboard, if it's the RAM. I mean, we're early into the diagnostic process, but that machine gave us a blue screen of death. It failed Dell's built-in hardware diagnostic. And what I think is even more impressive is when you're testing the RAM on a computer, there's a program, a very reputable program called Memtest 86. And what this does is it stress tests the RAM and makes sure the RAM is up to par. No one knows the answer, but I intentionally want to leave maybe a second or two for you to just, in your head, guess how long it takes this computer's RAM to fail the stress test. What's the answer, Noah?
Literally 2 seconds.
It's actually, so I came in earlier. I came in today. So Noah had ran the memory test last night. I came in today and it was failed. So I ran it again and it took literally 2 seconds. So I went to go show Noah the fact that it literally took 2 seconds to fail. And you know how long it took to fail?
2 seconds.
1
second.
1 to 2 seconds for this RAM to fail the Memtest.
Yeah. Not only that, it crashed Memtest.
It crashed. Yes, it crashed Memtest.
It crashed, and we had to hard reset the computer.
And this computer was $65, so it's one of the higher priced computers on the marketplace. It was $65 and sold in that condition. This is what you're getting for a bargain off of Facebook Marketplace. So again, back to it. Because at the end of the day, what do you think when this computer's all set? What do you think we're going to charge for that computer? Probably $250, do you think?
$250.
Or you think $200 is going to be more realistic? Between $200 to $250.
It's going to be between $200 to $250, depending on the operating system it has and all that stuff.
Well, it's a Win 10 Pro machine.
Oh yeah, it does have a Windows 10 license. That's right. So yeah, it's going to be anywhere from $200 to $250.
So that's probably what we're going to end up selling this computer for. But here's the thing: is this computer is going to be sold to you for that price, certified refurbished.
What does certified refurbished mean?
No, genuinely. So that's
Yeah.
the question. That's the question I had. So I was sitting there. Well, so to put in some perspective, okay, how did we come into buying these computers off the Facebook Marketplace? So what happens is myself, Liam, is sitting at his desk thinking about the big important job he has to do for the business. And he says, I'm bored. What can I do to procrastinate? So he says, okay, I'm going to go on Facebook Marketplace and go buy some computers. And so I go and I buy some computers, and I think to myself, I'm like, okay, so why are these computers so cheap? As I just laid out to you, we know why these computers are so cheap. But if you go on Newegg, if you go on Amazon, if you go on a manufacturer's website, you're going to find certified refurbished computers, which aren't $65. They're only $200, maybe $300 cheaper, depending on the computer. And they still go for over $1,000, depending on the computer.
Yeah.
So what is certified refurbished? A computer that is certified refurbished, all you have to do to certify a computer as refurbished is certify it. That's all you have to do.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean filing paperwork. That doesn't mean doing this. That doesn't mean doing that. You just do it.
It means that you certify.
I certify it. So when you buy a computer from me, it's certified refurbished from Basilius Technology Solutions. Okay? And there is a difference between this computer being certified refurbished from Microsoft and being certified refurbished from Basilius Technology Solutions. Like, I would not blame somebody for looking at a Dell that I certify refurbished and being confused as to the fact that it's certified refurbished by you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but the point of the matter is the reason that we can certify refurbish a computer and the person selling it for $50 can't is we have a company and we have a brand whose integrity we can put at stake. And so when I certify a computer as refurbished, I'm gambling. I'm quite literally gambling the company's integrity. Because if I miss something, if I don't properly refurbish this machine, and if I sell you a product that is not fully up to par, my brand, our brand, is down the drain.
Yep.
That's it. That ruins our brand. So in a sense, it's gambling on our end. So in order to certify something as refurbished, that's going to increase the value for you, because hopefully what I'm trying to really get across is that if I'm certifying something as refurbished, I'm putting the full weight of my brand and my company behind it. And if it's not up to par, that's bad for me. So in the long term, it's bad for everybody.
But that also guarantees that we'll fix it.
Right. And so, I mean, there's value. There's value that goes into a computer that's certified refurbished. Like, for example, this computer's RAM is busted, more than likely. So what am I going to do?
Fix it.
I'm going to get new RAM. Before I put this computer for sale, it will have new RAM. You know, if the CPU, every component on the computer gets tested. The RAM gets put through a test. The hard drives are all put through tests. The CPU is all put through a test. And if it fails, then we replace the component. And only after every component on the computer has passed a proper stress test and the system is stable and we can guarantee system stability, only then is a computer certified refurbished. But on top of that, it comes with, I'm just moving my mic here, it comes with guarantees that you're not going to get. I'm actually, you don't know this, I actually have it in front of me, so I'm going to pull it up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You're gonna think this is so cool. I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. On that piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, in not a default font, but in a font, it says company name, Auburn, Maine. Sold one Dell Optiplex, $60. It has the description, if you will, of the Dell Optiplex. With improper formatting, it says one incomplete Dell Optiplex. And then it has the stuff laid out. And I mean, I'm being very serious here when I say, like, the formatting is bad, the punctuation is bad, the grammar is bad. Like, it is very poorly done. This is a receipt I'm holding, Noah. And at the bottom of it, it says, all sales final. And he made me sign it. Which, again, if you notice, receipt signature was handwritten on here for where the receipt signature goes. So it's very, very shady.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is the receipt for the computer that's busted, that's not working.
Go figure, right?
And he made me sign something that says all sales final in capital letters. You're not getting that from us. You're just not.
Yeah.
Right now, the way our warranty stands is because it is a refurbished piece of hardware. The warranty is not for the full year you might have a manufacturer. It's a full 30-day. And the reason for that is when people buy a computer, they think they know what they're getting, but there are many a times when people are mistaken. So we want to give you the time, the opportunity to make sure, is this computer going to work for me? And you have 30 days to do that. Okay. And during those 30 days, we will do just about anything. If you don't want it, I'll take it back. You know, as long as, you know, you don't do something stupid like you reflash Windows, you know, something
or, you know, spill liquid in it or
spill
something
liquid
like
in
that.
it. Yeah, I mean, if you don't, if the computer's not going to work for you, that's fine. You know, if the computer stops working for you altogether and there is a problem that did slip through the cracks, you know, you're going to be able to identify that issue within 30 days.
Yeah.
And I'll replace it. You know, we'll just take care of it. Your labor's free, your everything's free. It's just taken care of. 30 days. You can get a refund. And after that, so we charge a diagnostic fee. It's $30. And typically, when we do diagnostics, half of that fee will go towards the cost of your service. So you get a $15 refund if you have services done after we do a diagnostic. Diagnostics are free for the life of every machine that we sell as certified refurbished.
And that's a pretty great value.
You're talking in a sales voice, but what I'm saying is if my computer's wrong, I will fix it. You know, you should be able to figure out if there's an issue over the course of 30 days, you know, but if it takes longer than 30 days, I will at the very least help you identify that issue. And I think more than likely, while on paper it says, you know, I'll only take care of it for free over the course of 30 days. If it's just a quick issue, I'm not going to charge you for that. But the point I'm trying to get across is these machines are rigorously tested. They're cleaned. And mind you, we've bought 6. One of them has gone through almost every step in the process. And we have a second one that's about halfway through, maybe a third of the way through the process. And we've had these computers for 2 days. The reason that going is so slow is because of how thorough we're being, you know?
Not to mention these computers are filthy when we're getting them in.
Well, and that's exactly it. These computers are coming, and I've been assured that these computers are coming with clean thermal paste. And so for those of you who are unaware, the processor of the computer is the part that gets hot. And because of that, the processor needs to be cooled down. And on the top of the processor is a plate of metal. And all the heat from the processor goes into that plate of metal. In the cooling fan of the processor, on the bottom of the cooling fan, or if you do liquid cooling, your liquid cooler, you have another metal plate. And the heat conducts from the plate on the processor to the plate on your cooler, and then it heats up the cooler, and the cooler vents it out. That's how your computer cools itself.
Yes.
In order to allow the heat to be conducted with the best efficiency possible, there is a layer of conductive paste called thermal paste that is placed between the two plates. And it helps fill in micro gaps and so on that would prevent the cooling from being done effectively. So thermal paste is a necessity. I would say for most computers, for a gaming computer, you will probably want to repaste your computer every 3 to 6 months minimum for optimum paste, if you will. Because the thing with thermal paste is that it does wear out. You know, but for the average computer, every 6 to 10 months, if you're really staying on top of it, repasting it then. You know, as you start using your computer more and more, it starts running slower, it starts running hotter. That is a sign that you need to get your paste redone, potentially. And you don't want to avoid these issues. We had a computer in the shop this week that was having thermal issues for over a year. And it had been ignored. By the time we got to that computer, what's the word I'm thinking of? Not the thermal paste, but the CPU and the fan.
The heat spreader on the CPU and the block.
Right, the block. So the fan for this particular CPU, there had been thermal issues. One of the things with thermal paste is it's meant to conduct heat, but inexpensive thermal paste, like what comes with the machine by default, actually can be restructured under extreme intense heat. And this thermal paste had been well burnt out. There was a problem with some fans in the computer, and there were no fans, if you will, circulating the air. So the computer was like a mini furnace, and the heatsink, the fan for the computer, actually combined with the CPU. And
so it fused.
The two components fused together because of heat.
It's just wild.
It's wild. But the point I'm trying to get across is that paste and just kind of the it's important for a computer.
Absolutely.
And these
absolutely.
computers are coming to us repasted, and then I take them apart, and it's a horrible job. There's thermal paste everywhere.
But not on all parts of the CPU. That's one big thing I noticed.
Right. I mean, and only half of the processor might have thermal paste. The other half doesn't. And then you have thermal paste that's dripped down the side of the processor. And that's very dangerous because if you get severe like paste or dust or so on in kind of the socket where the processor goes, the whole computer's gone.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
You got to replace the motherboard and the processor at that point. And at that point, you're looking at a new computer. So that's the job that these computers are coming with, which is just not good. And with that being said, another thing that I've noticed is on some of these computers is people are only cleaning off the CPU when they repaste the computer. When you paste a computer and put thermal paste on it, you need to clean off the processor, but where's the processor touching? The heatsink on the fan.
So you need to clean the heatsink.
You need to clean the heatsink on the fan, and they don't. I can visibly see where there has been 2 to 3 layers of thermal paste, and just grime has built up from old thermal paste that's so old it's gone black. And typically, you should be able to wipe off thermal paste, even if it's old. But these computers are coming with paste that hasn't been cleaned properly in the past, and that's so poorly done that I actually have to very lightly scrape the old layer off to get me to the newest, softest layer before I can then properly clean it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is. And so even if you're getting a computer that, they say it's been cleaned, they say this, they say that, if a computer if they say it's been repasted and you're just getting off the Facebook Marketplace, the odds are it hasn't been repasted well. It hasn't been repasted properly. And then these computers, I've also been assured, are clean. And then I take them apart and they're filthy. Because what people are doing is they're putting canned air in there and they're getting rid of all the loose dust, all the loose dirt. And that's huge, by the way. Don't get me wrong. That's important. Yeah. But you look at the side of the machine and you just touch it and it's grimy. Dirt just comes off as you tap it with your finger. It's nasty. It's grimy. And so we're having to go through and really clean these computers. So again, we're selling these computers typically anywhere between $200 and $300. We're getting them for $50, but there's a lot of work that is going into these machines to get them to a point where they're sellable.
Yep. Now, we're not saying that you shouldn't buy parts and computers off of Facebook Marketplace. You need to know what you're looking for, though.
I wouldn't buy a computer off the Facebook Marketplace unless I was comfortable running all the stress tests myself, unless I was comfortable repasting the computer, and unless I was comfortable getting inside and giving it a good scrub with some isopropyl alcohol. Genuinely, unless you're looking for a beater of a computer, unless you're looking for a computer that you're only going to use once every 3 months, if you're going to be using the computer a few times a week, if you're going to be using it somewhat regularly, and you don't feel comfortable doing the maintenance work yourself, just don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I would say. And I mean, you might be a bit looser on that than I am. I don't know what your thoughts are, but
I'm not thinking so much as computers as like computer hardware. Like I would totally buy a used graphics card off of the Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something like that, simply because you can get such a good deal on like a 1080 or something like that, or like a 980 or something.
But you have
like
to
that.
Be careful.
You do have to be careful.
I will not buy a used graphics card off of Facebook Marketplace unless I witness with my own eyes a stress test.
Yeah, and it actually booting up and not artifacting or something like that. Which upon request, by the way, we will do. We will show you that the computer boots up.
Oh, absolutely. So with the computers we sell is typically we're shipping them out. But if somebody's in the local area and they're coming to grab a computer, you can come get it picked up. If you're in the Lewiston, Auburn area, I actually will deliver. as well. Just local delivery, no delivery fee. I get out of work. When we get out of the office, I'll just take it with me, and on my way home, just go take care of it. I've done it with a couple
Yeah.
used computers in the area. But what was I saying? But if you wanted to pick it up yourself and you want to take a look at it, we will show you that, and we will also provide the documentation proving, hey, it passed this test. It's passed this test. X, Y, and Z, so you have all of that there. Just kind of a record of the computer's life. I mean, think of it. You have to think about computers similar in a way to how you think about cars.
Yeah.
I think. And
I agree with that.
I mean, it's just like, think about it. It's like, if you see a 2015, 2016 car for $1,000,
you're going to think something's wrong with it.
You're going to think something's wrong with it. And if you see even a 7-year or 8-year-old computer for $20,
you're going to know something's wrong with it.
I mean, that's the thing. Is you have to. I really think putting computers into the perspective of a car is a really valuable thing to do.
And we do it all the time.
We do it all the time. I mean, it's a natural extension.
It is. It really is.
But you really you want to be careful. And I really, obviously I'm biased, but I really do think you should be buying from somebody who is certified, selling a product that is certified refurbished. And that can be your local technology store. Obviously us here in Auburn, there's a local store over in Lewiston. There's our partner company out in Waterville that sells certified refurbished computers. And then there's the big manufacturers. Your Hewlett-Packard, your Dell, your Lenovo, they certify refurbished computers all the time. Hey, they even do it with printers. Mm-hmm. There's tons of reliable places where you can buy a certified refurbished computer. But if you want a computer and you want it for cheap, you don't do it from Facebook, in my opinion, unless you're confident in managing it yourself in a very hands-on way, or are okay knowing that what you buy may not fully be functioning, and you're just looking for a beater.
Yeah. And I think that's going to do it for this conversation today, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, it's not the most exciting topic, but I felt like it was a very relevant and a very important topic, the likes of which I did most of the talking of. I'm so sorry.
You did, but you had more experience with it today.
I've been doing most of the work so far on these computers, and I've been the one that's been buying all the computers, and making the relationships and doing all that. So I did a lot of the talking in that regard. And I think there's a lot to learn. I've been learning a lot, and people need to know, because they think they're getting a good deal, and what they're actually getting is a $60 computer like the one sitting behind me that at the end of the day, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And you don't want to end up with a $60 paperweight, because that's an expensive paperweight.
Well, how do you get rid of a computer? Because you can't just throw it out. But to the average person, how do you get rid of a computer? To me, that sounds like a podcast episode for the future. I'm just saying. How do you dispose of a computer? I think that's a thing that we should talk about. But you just got to be careful. If you're going to buy something, buy it certified refurbished. And it doesn't have to be from us. It doesn't have to be from your local company. Although, support your local businesses, especially in these trying times.
Please,
yeah. You can go, if you want a Hewlett-Packard, go through Hewlett-Packard. Go through, a big company. Go through Newegg. Go through the manufacturer directly. Go through these people. But I would not.
Don't buy off of Joe Schmo, who says no, all sales final.
Unless you're confident in digging through it yourself.
And with that, I think that's going to do it for us today.
Yeah, I'll actually accept your wrap-up attempt. I will accept it at this time.
He will accept it at this time. That's going to do it for this episode of the Central Podcasting Unit. This has been Noah and Liam in office today.
Thank you guys very much for listening. I hope you found it enjoyable. As always, feel free to leave feedback on either Facebook or YouTube. Hopefully one day we'll get the blog posts all caught up with the podcasting episodes, and that is going to be it. Don't doubt me. Doubt me not too far.
All right. We will see you guys on the next one.
See ya.